Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And I have a special guest today. His name is Tim James, and he is from the Chemical Free Body, but he has also, his podcast is Health Hero. Is that correct? Health Hero.
Health Hero Show.
Health Hero Show. And he's my new friend. And I tell you, we are both learning so much from each other. It's so exciting. He's trying my products, L-Ruteride, Kefir, all the things that is making a difference in his life. And I'm trying his. I love some of his products. He's sent them to me. And I don't have a lot of these products on my site. So I'm excited to share with you something that could really enhance your life. We're going into cold and flu season. He's got some terrific products that will help boost your immune system. And they're really great. He's done a really great job in designing his products and the ingredients. And I love the fact that he is such a health hero. So I'd really like you to hear his background story. It's pretty amazing. So Tim, if you'll tell us some more about you so the listeners can find out more about who you are.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to come on here and share. And I am now one of you guys. I am a Cultured Food Life ambassador. What was it called in the back? I signed up. I'm a member now. I'm like
Biotic Pro.
I'm a Biotic Pro. That's me now. So yeah. Well, my backstory: I grew up on a small cattle and hay farm in Eastern Oregon, hunting and fishing, and doing my thing. I played baseball at a high level for 30 years. And by age 37, I'd actually moved down to the Portland metro area. I'm not there no longer. I moved back home, taking care of mom and dad. They're in their 80s. And I literally bought the farm back from them. And I'm just going to help my mom and dad through, it's giving back. They changed my diapers. And so now I'm going to take care of them and just cook food and, do that kind of stuff. But at age 37, I found myself 42 pounds overweight. I had mental fog. I had developed a huge patch of eczema on my left knee that was cracking and bleeding all the time and sticking to my pants. I was a financial advisor at the time, wife, mortgage, couple kids, coaching sports, all that stuff. And we had 3 offices actually, and I was running around, lots of stress in my life, and as a financial advisor. And then I got eczema on both of my elbows, and that started cracking and bleeding. So as a financial advisor, that doesn't work really well with white shirts because you stain them and they stick to your elbow. It's very painful. Like I had to peel my shirts off my elbows every day, multiple times a day. And it gets annoying. It really does. And it's very frustrating and it's demeaning and demoralizing to be bleeding all the time. So one knee, 2 elbows bleeding. And being an A-type person, I found my world kind of shrinking. My universe was shrinking because when we go to the beach and stuff, it wasn't like I didn't want to take my shirt off because I was overweight, because a lot of other people are nowadays, but it was because my skin and it looked like a bleeding salamander or something. It was just, I was embarrassed about it. I tried all the, stuff, and I went to the doctors and, taking all these things and creams, and, I did it religiously. I rubbed them on there, but nothing ever seemed to work. And then it got worse. And then I started bleeding rectally. For 2.5 years, every time I had a bowel movement, it was followed by lots of blood. And in fact, I just interviewed a gal on my show, and that could be a sign of colon cancer. I was like, yeah. Who knows what I had, or it could have been a hemorrhoid, or you just never know. Or it could be polyps in there that are falling off or something. I don't know. So all I know is I was bleeding, and being a guy, I kind of had my head in the sand. I went to the doctor a couple of times about it, and I got medications, but I never really fulfilled the prescriptions, because a couple times I did, but I never took them. It was probably a good thing. One of the side effects for one of the things they were going to give me was rectal bleeding. I'm like, I already have that. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me to take it. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just going about my life, head in the sand. I guess it was my ego got my way. I really wanted to be healthy. Like I said, I was an athlete. I always wanted to have an advantage and stuff, but I tried all kinds of stuff. Nothing was working. And then a good friend of mine on my baseball team, Kalei Mahoy, got diagnosed with stomach cancer, and we lost him. And he left 3 little boys behind from ages 6 to 17. He died 80 pounds under his weight. He looked like somebody from Auschwitz or something. So that happened, and then right after that, he was 40. Then my buddy Charles at age 43 got diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is this supposedly incurable blood cancer. This was back in 2010. And they really didn't have much for him. So he found a place in Florida called the Hippocrates Health Institute. It's it's been around like 70 years now. And this gal named Ann Wigmore healed herself of stage 4 colon cancer with like herbs and long grass. And that was the story. And now they've helped 600,000 people, right? So it's a big deal. And he asked me to go with him. So I did. I had no idea what I was getting into, especially being the redneck meat eater, because it was a plant-based, it was living foods. There's all plants. There's no meat there. And he broke the news to me. He was smart. After I was on the airplane, they were already flying there. So we get there and we start doing all this detox stuff and drinking water and wheatgrass juice and sprout juice and sprouted nuts, sprouted seeds, sprouted grains, sprouted beans, all these living foods, they called it. And the first class was called Internal Awareness. And this doctor, Scott Josephson, comes out, and this guy is like buff. He looks great. I was like, wow, that guy's really healthy. And come to find out, it was his 50th birthday that day that he was teaching the class, and he looked like he was 40. And that was kind of the common theme there. The people that have been working there 10, 20 years looked about 10, 20 years younger than the rest of the population their age. So I'm like, okay, I remember Tony Robbins, Success Leaves Clues, but how could this podunk place help people with cancer? I mean, this is ridiculous. We have the best minds and all this money out there and our best medical community. If they can't figure it out, how could this place do it? Well, I was about to get educated. So he explained how the gastrointestinal tract works from the time you eat food until the time it exits the body. What happens? I learned a lot. I was amazed. But the big takeaway was, Donna, was that the average person has 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in the colon, just sitting there. And this is a disease causing problem, right? It is very low oxygen. It's very acidic. And then that starts breeding. It's the perfect terrain for viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, fungus, mutagens, these cancers, and parasites. So he was trying to sell us on getting colon hydrotherapy or a colonic. You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah. Yes, very much so.
Okay. Well, for the listeners, in case there's somebody out there that didn't know what that is, because I didn't, colon hydrotherapy it's colon hydro water therapy. So you basically insert a tube rectally and water gently goes in and out of your colon for an hour and it cleans your colon. It's like taking a car or a tractor into the shop and flushing out the engine so it'd run better. And I didn't want to do it. And I remember elbowing Charles and saying, hey man, I came here to help you with this whole cancer deal, but I ain't doing that thing. That ain't happening. And, but Dr. Josephson was a genius because, they say a picture is worth 60,000 words. So he actually, at the end of the deal, I was never going to do this colon hydrotherapy thing. Not going to happen. Ego again. And scared, actually. And he showed virtual colonoscopies of 4 people, 3 unhealthy people, and 1 person that had been on the Hippocrates lifestyle for a while and eating fresh, healthy foods and stuff. The first person was a 24-year-old female that had Hashimoto's, a thyroid issue, and thrush, which is a yeast infection inside of her colon. Now, I'm expecting to go into a virtual colonoscopy video and see brown waste matter in a colon. That's, it's a waste removal system, right? Her colon was white and yellow. She had so much yeast growing in her. I was like, oh my God, that looks terrible. And then they went to the next dude. It was a 65-year-old male, and he had stage 4 colon cancer, and he had and parasites. So inside of his colon was like black tar, black as night, with white worms crawling around. Right. And I saw the worms and I was like, it's gross, And then the Dr. Josephson turns around and he said, hey, look, you guys think that this parasite deal is a third world affair. Far from it. Over the next 3 weeks on the Hippocrates Transformation Program, you guys are going to see easily 50% of you are going to see these parasites exiting through your stools. Easily. And some of you will actually see them crawling out of the pores in your skin. And we're all just, you look in the audience and it's just like we're watching a horror movie, right? Everybody's freaked out. And he said, but these are the ones you can see. These are the hookworms, the pinworms, and the tapeworms that you can actually see with the naked eye. There's other ones that are smaller and they live in your cells and they live in your tissue and they actually live in your heart. I've done this. Like you can open heart surgery worms, type that in, or parasites, where a surgeon's actually doing open heart surgery. When they open up the heart, pocket of worms just crawls all over the place. They just explode. So people we have parasites in us. We want to, get them down. So he said, all of them are eating our food, drinking our drinks. They're urinating and defecating in us, having sex and laying thousands of eggs. And now I'm like freaked out. Okay. Then they went to the next virtual colonoscopy, which was a 45-year-old female woman. And she had breast cancer and like colitis or Crohn's. Her gut was jacked up or something, like, And again, black like tar, a little bit of brown in there, but it looked not the greatest. And then they went to the healthy person. Now inside of their colon, you could see the wall. It was all pink and clean, the red blood vessels and brown waste matter. And that's what it was supposed to look like. And that's when I got it, Donna. That's when I realized this is an inside game, right? Unfortunately for me, it was seeing is believing. Him showing me that virtual colonoscopy, the contrast did it for me. And I'm like, I'm freaking cleaning my colon out. That's it. I do not want this. I don't want this. I don't want to get sick. I've been eating the standard American diet too long. I'm changing right now. And from that moment on, I jumped up in class. I signed up for the colon hydrotherapy thing. I was the first one. He was actually told me to sit down, and I'm like, no, I'm doing it right now. And then the next day, I went in. They did the colon hydrotherapy. They weighed me. I did it. And they weighed me again. I dropped 11 pounds of impacted fecal material in one hour session. This was 2011, January. And then the record at that time, I don't know if somebody broke it, but one lady, over 600,000 people, she had lost 27 pounds of funk and gunk and junk in one colon hydrotherapy session. Think about that. That's the size of a medium-sized dog falling out of your rear end. That is a lot of waste matter. So that happened. I started feeling better. I actually did see at lunchtime, a lady had a parasite crawling out of her eye. So I was there. I actually saw it just like the doctor said. Lots of people were talking about parasites coming out in their stools because what we were doing is they were putting us on the highest oxygen, highest alkaline lifestyle that you possibly could. They were changing the internal terrain. They were cleaning us up inside and out and all this stuff. And the harmful organisms, the viruses, the bacteria, the mold, the yeast, the fungus, the parasites, the mutagens, and all that stuff, pack their bags and leave. It's kind of like a polar bear and a penguin. You put them in Miami Beach, they're going to be like, this is not my environment. I'm out of here. And they're hopping the ocean. They're out of there. They're going to go somewhere cold. That's what happened to me. And a few days later, next day, I looked at Charles and said, dude, do you feel as good as I do? And I'm like, my arms are tingling with energy. My brain's clear. I'm like, dude, you're going to heal a cancer. I'm going to go home and do this whole plant-based thing, except for bacon. And we're going to do it. And that's exactly what we did. We came home and we started juicing and doing all this stuff. And my friend healed himself and was able to go to father-son weekend at Oregon State University, saw his son graduate. And his son just actually sold him a house last year. His son became a real estate agent. I healed myself 60 days. All the weight was gone. Both elbows healed up. Another skin issue I didn't tell you about, my shoulder healed up. And about 8 months later, that big patch of eczema healed up on my knee. And I have been teaching classes and doing all kinds of stuff and shouting from the rooftops about this everywhere I go, because I was in pain. I was in fear. And I got my life back. It's like a complete do-over. Remember when you're a kid and you mess up, you're like, oh, it's just do-over. That's what this is for me. And I know there's so many people out there struggling today, and they really have to understand that's like, we have to go in, we have to take care of the gut. And that's why I'm so excited about the cultured foods, because this is a whole nother level of nourishment that I kind of knew about, but now meeting you, it's like, now I'm getting, the 400 level class, and I've made massive changes in my health. But people really need to understand that before that, you have to learn about chemicals and how bad they are. And I'll leave you with this, then I'll get into it. But I saw a study where back in like 2000, like 10 years ago, and all you got to do is type this into your browser: umbilical cord chemical. Umbilical cord chemical. If you search that, you will find the studies that go back to 2005. Every single time they test the umbilical cord blood of newborns, they're looking for 400 toxic chemicals. They're finding like 250, about 71% of what they're looking for, and 180 cause cancer in humans.
Yeah.
Let me repeat. Newborn babies and young mothers, newborn babies are being born with 180 cancer-causing chemicals in the womb, and 212 of those chemicals also cause developmental and disorders, brain disorders. They're only looking, Donna, for 400. There's 100,000 toxic chemicals out there. There's 2,000 new ones made every year, and only 1/4% are tested. So the bottom line is the older we are, the more time we've had to bioaccumulate these chemicals and these toxins, these microscopic invaders that are destroying our immune system. And these are a big root cause of all of our health issues, besides the lack of nourishment, the stress, and again, the cultured foods come in
And I
with
think it's
nourishment.
also a showing in the emotional system too, because you know, the serotonin is made in the gut. There's so many things. There's so many people that are unhealthy emotionally too, and they're just trying to medicate it. But it's all starting. I mean, it was Hippocrates who said all diseases begin in the gut,
Yeah.
and I've seen that firsthand myself, and with the thousands of people that I've helped in who have told me stories. I just got another one this week that just, I get stories blown away by people. And you guys, they're just changing what they eat. Do you know what I'm saying? They're being aware of the things that they were putting in their bodies and the ways that they can help their body, because this is our home on earth. And here's the thing. What people don't realize is that when you feel good, you start podcasts and write books. It's ridiculous. And websites. Do you know what I'm saying? Most of the people out there that are doing what you and I are doing is because at one point in their life, they felt like crap. Okay. They felt terrible. And then they felt better and they were so excited, because when you feel good, you want to do good. It opens up your heart and you want to help others, because you know what it's like to be in despair and depression. And I was one of those people too. And you guys, I know what it's like to run around with more energy than 24-year-olds. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I know how this works now. I've got it figured out. I know how to help my body. I know what it needs. It talks to me. And I know the things that it's helping. For instance, right before the show, you were talking about how he just started eating cultured foods like kefir and L-reuteri. He says he's having the best sleep of his life. Now, explain a little bit about that. And then I want to talk some more about your product.
Well, yeah. So I had Dr. William Davis on my show, and we talked about the wheat belly, right? Mm-hmm. But he started talking about these cultured foods, and I'm like I called him. I talked to him afterwards, like, dude, like, I want to know more about this stuff, So then I found you, because he's like, oh, you got to get this, and I took copious notes from him. I'm like, I got to have you back on, because he's like, yeah, I want to talk about my book, Super Gut. So I went online looking for a yogurt maker, and I got the Lavelle off of your site. And then I was reading about you, and I'm like, this is my gal. I feel I know it. And I reached out to you, and we've started our friendship, and which has been great. And so I started making the L-reuteri yogurt. I've been on it for a month and a half, and I've been on kefirs now. I got your kefir grains. I started with the easy kefir, and I've been on that for a month. I'm already addicted to it. My body craves that stuff. And what has happened is like, like as a health coach on our intake forms, one of the questions is, how's your sleep? 1 to 10, all this stuff. Sleep is a major indicator of your health. Okay. For me, it's the top three are this. Your air quality is number one, because oxygen, without it, you're dead in 4 to 7 minutes. So oxygen's super important. So we make sure that all of our clients, their homes, they have the best air. They're cracking their windows. They have an air purification system, whatever they need to get awesome oxygen, because it's the number one nutrient. Number 2 and 3 are a tie. Without water, you die in 11 days. Without sleep, you die in 11 days. So water and sleep, in my opinion, are a tie for the silver medal as far as importance in the human body. And so sleep is very important to me. Okay. And then we make that a big thing. So my goal for our clients is that they lay down and they're able to fall asleep very quickly. And they wake up in the morning and they haven't moved a stitch, and they feel completely restored and rested. And they wake up and they just feel damn good, and they're ready to take on their day. That's our goal. Now, they might be far off from there, but we work them through that in a 6-month program. Okay. When I started take L-reuteri and these kefirs, all of a sudden, I don't know, a couple weeks into it, I went to bed and I fell asleep. I've always had kind of trouble getting to sleep because I'm doing all this stuff and writing and doing all these things all the time. So for me, coming down is a little bit harder. Music has helped because I started playing guitar, but I fell asleep real quick. And I woke up and I didn't move an inch. And this has been happening now. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's happening almost every single night now. It's getting better. My strength is going up in my workouts I do band exercises and yoga stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's just like, it was almost like back in when I was in my 20s and I started taking creatine. Like it was almost like every workout, my strength was going up. And then, I've been working really hard, because being a redneck growing up in Eastern Oregon is like growing up in the 50s. Right. So we're a little repressed, and and the macho and all that stuff, and chewing tobacco and drinking beer and being tough, right? I've dropped all that stuff, and I eat a lot of sprouts and juice, and I don't care what anybody says about me. And I've been working on my spiritual practice and being calm and staying in the eye of the storm and not being stressed and stuff like that. And since 2018, I've done really well. But this freaking bacteria, these cultured foods, have taken it to a whole nother level. I have gotten way more calm. If I had any anxiety, I think it's gone. Like I'm just mellow, and I've been through I had a lot of high contrast because I'm building a shop and a living area. And, I had some friends of mine that had some addiction issues, and I've challenged them on it, and they, "Rawr," it's like cornering a tiger. And, and I've been able to get through it without going old redneck Tim on them. Right. And
Mhm.
just being calm and being loving and
Love that.
supportive, and then getting them in to become a human being again, and so it's been wonderful. And for me, 2022, the biggest discovery that I've added to my life is the cultured foods. And I'm telling all my clients about, we have thousands and thousands of clients around the world, and they're all going to know about it.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you for coming on my podcast. If you guys want to hear her, it's episode 134 of my podcast, The Health Hero Show. And I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom and stuff, because it's changed my life. And through you and through me, there's going to be a lot of other people that I've already found that you're going to affect their lives big time too, with
Mhm.
the stuff that you guys have at Cultured Food Life and all your products.
Well, that's a great testimony. We get so many wonderful testimonies, and I've seen all the improvements that you've seen, and it's mostly through the oxytocin, I think, and the gut bacteria that changes over that allows you to have that calmness. And not only that, it explodes collagen into your skin, and it does so many wonderful things. But guys, it's all going on in the gut, and whether it's bacteria or the foods that we eat are so important. And I want to talk especially about Tim's a couple of the products that he sent me. I really like. They've got one that, especially since we're going into cold or flu season, that I really like. Okay, tell me the name again. It's the
Oh, V-Stack.
the V stack. My son stole it from my kitchen, and I found it in his room because he likes it so much. But it has zinc and vitamin C, and what are all the ingredients? It's got like
Well, it's
D3.
a secret. So it's V as in victory. So it's V. It could be vitamin stack. A lot of people call it the virus stack. It just you can read through the lines on whatever you want to call it, but it's literally 6 products in one. Because what happened was, is through the whole pandemic deal, and me being out there, and I literally talking to just gazillions of people all day long about health and stuff. A lot of people were reaching out because through the pandemic, people found out that vitamin A actually strengthens the cell walls to protect it from
Yes.
viral loads, right? Vitamin C works like a shock absorber to fight off that cytokine storm, especially if you got inflammation and fluid buildup in the lungs, like with pneumonia, et cetera. Vitamin D3 is it's like a sharpshooter, and it shoots holes in viruses as they enter. Zinc. A lot of people found out about zinc. The thing with zinc, though, is it's got to get inside the cell. So that's where that
Right.
quercetin comes in. It's like a taxi cab that takes the zinc in. And then if a virus does make it into the cell, then the zinc stops it from replicating, right?
Mhm.
So that's a multi-pronged approach. And a lot of people were calling me like, Tim, where do I get the best vitamin E? Where do I get the best vitamin C? Where do I get the best, most absorbable vitamin D3, zinc, blah, blah, blah. And I was like doing a bunch of research because we didn't have that product. We had D3 and stuff in our greens product. And there's obviously vitamins in that thing like crazy because the phytonutrient profile and stuff. But I called our formulator, Dr. Treadwell. I was like, "Hey, man, let's just make a formula." So we had already had launched about 2 years ago and bought this really expensive machine, and it creates this thing. We call it our proprietary cellular absorption system. Okay, so there are these little tinctures, and the first one was a turmeric product, and the reason why is because I found a study, Donna, that showed that if you take the turmeric, the curcuminoids, 95% curcuminoids, and you make them really tiny mechanically, which that's what our machine does now. It's an expensive process. It costs 4 times the amount of the raw materials just to run it through the process. It's a 2-week lengthy period of doing it and letting it set. And you put it in a liquid, you suspend it in a liquid. The 63 people in that study had 185 fold, not percent, 185 times the anti-inflammatory response.
Oh, really?
This is
Wow.
massive. This was like, I saw this and
Wow.
I kept reading it and rereading it. And I was like, I sent it to Dr. Trevor. I was like, dude, look at this. Can we do this? And he's like, yeah, we can do it, but we have to buy one of those machines. They're really expensive. So we got the machine, long story short, and we started with the turmeric 100. And I called it 100 because I'm always like, I could have called it 185, but I always just go below. And I thought 100 would be easy to remember or something. So it's literally, and there's no black pepper needed. You don't need black
Yeah.
pepper because it's
You
not
always
going
heard
through the
that.
gastrointestinal tract. It goes in the
Right.
mouth. You hold it in your mouth for 15 to 30 seconds. It disappears through the mucous membrane. It goes right into the bloodstream and right into the cell. So in 5 minutes, your entire cardiovascular system is doused in these microscopic curcuminoids, and it's reducing cellular inflammation so nutrients can get in. waste matter can get out, because people have what's called cellular constipation. They don't know it. And so that was that process. We did the exact same thing with the V-Stack. So we took vitamin A, beta carotene, vitamin C from the camu berry, vitamin D3 from lichen, which is the best source. It's even better than the cholecalciferol, which is good. And I have that in green 85, but it's different. Lichen's more powerful for the D3. And zinc, but the zinc is not rock zinc. We've actually, it's called zinc Krebs. We've chelated it with plant amino acids. So it's basically, it's kind of like fermented. It's broken down, so it's more absorbable. And then the quercetin is from the Sephora japonica flower. And then we have a complete multi-mineral complex in there, fulvics and humics and all that stuff. So it's like a whole multi-mineral and all that stuff. So when you take it, it's literally like an oral IV, because it's going through the mucous membrane in the mouth, directly into the blood and directly into the cell in 5 minutes. I mean, it's quite profound. These are the most powerful tinctures that I've seen on the planet. The only other one I saw for turmeric was somebody used tetracurcuminoids, which is the synthetic version. We will never do that. We are chemical-free body. We don't put chemicals and toxins in. We show people where they're coming from, stop putting them in. We help people get them out. I don't want to put more crap in them. People got to start reading labels too, because a lot of the other ingredients are also toxic.
Now, you have the turmeric by itself too, and then you have it in the V-Stack. So you have just you can just get the turmeric. Is that the one that the people took that saw 185% decrease?
Yeah, the turmeric 100 is it's an anti-inflammatory. Now, I took it because I wanted to reduce cellular inflammation in my body, but a lot of people are taking it for pain and inflammation. A lot of athletes are taking it for recovery. A lot of people are taking it post-surgery, anytime injuries, arthritis, backaches, neck aches, all that, joint pain, all that kind of stuff. People are taking it for pain. But for me, it was really another way to boost my immune system and to get the flow. We need flow, right? Like a river. I mean, you want to drink out of a stagnant, nasty, dirty, muddy pond, or you want to drink out of a clean river running by. So the river that we want things to flow. We want our blood to flow and move, and we want things also to go in through the cell. We want it to flow into the cell, do its thing, and flow out. So it's all about flow.
My son was using that turmeric. He said it really helped. He did something to his calf. I think he was playing, it's called Ralph ball or something. I don't know. He's playing and he damaged his. He said he started taking it because I found it in his room. Because I'm like, he goes, well, it's helping me. It's helping the inflammation, because he said it stopped hurting because he would cramp up a lot.
Right. So yeah, we actually have a protocol. Anytime somebody gets hurt, we can help people, or they have injuries or post-surgery. Typically, they can heal up at about a third of the time, and the doctors are always blowing their minds. And the turmeric is part of that little formula we share with people.
And I do really, really, really like your green powder, because I don't think people get enough vegetables and fruits and in that concentrated form. I like to make smoothies with it, put fruit in there, put it in my kefir smoothie, but I really like that powder. And,
well, that's because the product is a couple things. Number one, the ingredients are juice extracts and they're concentrated. So let's say you go buy a green powder. A lot of them have wheatgrass. That's great. Wheatgrass is awesome, but it could just be the ground up wheatgrass cellulose. And, but if you start drinking that with water, you're going to get benefits because it's better than apple juice, right? You're going to feel better. Plus you're doing something good. So you're telling the universe, I'm doing something good. The universe will reflect that back to you, which is awesome. Okay. So any green juice is good. Most of them. But with this one, it's juice extracts. And then when we purchase it, it's like, what's available? 6-to-1, 10-to-1, 20-to-1 concentrates, whatever is the most available. That's what we get. Because all the products I built for me, this is like, I'm hacking my health. My whole business is like, I'm a human lab experiment. I find something that works and I want the best, right? For me.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And then also our formulator, Dr. Treadway, he was supposed to go. Well, he went to Cornell Medical School to become a medical doctor. His whole family wanted him to be a doctor. As a young man in his 20s, he walked away from it and said, this isn't medicine. And then he went to naturopathic school, and that wasn't good enough for him. So he flies to India, meets one of the top healer gurus over there in Ayurvedic medicine. The guy had a whole chain of herbal stores. He was like speaking with the government, all this stuff. And he met him and asked him if he would teach him. And he said, yes. So he became his Padawan, I guess. And he learned over there, and he studied at 2 clinics and these 2 master healers. And he came back with he's a PhD, but he also is a master herbalist in Indian herbology, now also Chinese herbology and Western herbology. He had a clinic for 10 years seeing patients, and then he decided to help the world better. He would just make formulas. So he's one of the top consultants for the supplement industry. The only difference is like my company is one of the few ones, besides the people I've now sent him, that I would allow him to use his formulas and I wouldn't change them. And I wouldn't put synthetics in them, and I wouldn't dumb them down with using we use like camu berry for vitamin C or alma berry. We don't use ascorbic acid, which is the synthetic version.
Right.
I'm one of the only companies that allowed him to make it and not touch it and leave it alone. And so why does his stuff work so well? Because Ayurvedic medicine is 10,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Ayurvedic medicine, this is actually kind of quite interesting. I learned this from Dr. Shiva, who's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life. And he said that if you look at every system, everything is a system. Like your body is a system, everything's a system. And there's basics. You have input, output, and in the middle, this thing called transport, conversion, and storage. So for all the engineers out there, this is like basics. But for people like me, it's probably new. It sounds weird. Over in Ayurvedic tradition, they have something called karma, karma fall, vata, pitta, kapha. When you say that, that sounds like woo-woo, blah, blah, blah.
No,
it's system science.
Mm-hmm.
Vata, pitta, kapha is transport, conversion, and storage. Karma is input, karma fall is output. So what that means is that Ayurvedic medicine is steeped in biological engineering system science. They know exactly how it's going to work in the body. Engineers can't make mistakes or people die. They have to make bridges and roads and planes. Mm-hmm. And if they mess up, people die. That's why that's why my products work so good, is because I will not compromise on ingredients. Plus, I'm piggybacked off of Dr. Treadway's, learning this 10,000 years of biological engineering system science. So that's why our stuff works for 98% of people up the middle so well.
It's funny. Last night, I wasn't very hungry, but I wanted to have something to eat because we had kind of a big lunch, so I wasn't going to eat a big dinner. So I made a smoothie and I put some of your green powder in. I put some pineapple, some frozen bananas, some of your green smoothie, and I made it into. I have one of these new machines called it makes ice cream really fast. So I stuck it in there and had ice cream for dinner, but I was just fruit and it was kefir and it was a little bit of oat milk. It was your powder. And then I just spun it up into ice cream and I'm like, it's so good. It tasted so good that I had to make more for the rest of my family because I was so full and it was like this meal. And I thought I'm feeding the cells of my body in a powerful way, but I also am finding that I crave it because when you start to change what you eat and you start to get rid of all these chemicals, your gut bacteria shifts. So your bacteria starts to crave different things. But also your brain calms down. Your dopamine receptors aren't on fire because you're eating garbage all the time and it wants more. It calms everything down. And you literally crave the foods that make you well. And I've seen that in my own life over and over again, that what you feed your body's always trying to assimilate something. So whether it's a chemical or a healthy food, it tries to assimilate those chemicals and create cravings from it because it's trying to help you to disperse all that, get rid of it. And you actually start to crave the things that don't make you well. But if you eat the foods that do make you well, you crave them too. So it really is a very easy thing to manipulate that people are not aware of. And you have so many concentrated pure ingredients in that green powder that it's so satisfying. You don't need a lot of other things.
Well, what happens is what we notice is that when people start taking it, besides their grocery bill dropping a lot, so per can it's about $50 a month drop in groceries. So the green 85 actually kind of covers itself, but you're going to eat half as much food. And the reason why is because when you start cleaning up the gut, you start giving it what it needs. First off, 85% of the nutrients are farmed out of our soil. It's just gone. It's not there. So if it's not in the soil, it's not going to be in the plants that we eat or the animals that ate the plants.
And the minerals too, they're gone.
Yeah, so it's gone. So that's why we called it green 85, because it replaces the 85% that's missing. Most people are literally walking around, Donna, on 15% octane. They have no idea what it's like to be like you're experiencing right now, like I experience on a daily basis. Like I'm at 100% now because I've learned how it works. My body's a system, and I'm 100% octane now. And then I'm always working on new stuff like the cultured foods and that kind of stuff. So that's why that works. Another pro tip is that always, if you have high-speed blenders, especially with green 85, we ask you make your smoothies first, put green 85 in last, lightly feathered in, or even spoon it and stir it in, because we actually have life force attached to this. Is like a living powder. Mm-hmm. There are electrons alive and well and enzymes alive and well in that formula. And 85 to 92% of nutrition is killed in 90 seconds in a high-speed blender. So
Well,
I
mine
use
is
them to
only
make
20
dressing.
seconds at the
What's
most
that?
for mine. I only do like 20 seconds because I'm conscious of that too with the other stuff too. But honestly, what's really interesting is you don't have to blend it a lot. It
No.
it blends very, very easily. And you can even put it in water and do it. It's fine.
People do it in
So
water. They do it in nut milk. Some people make smoothies. It's whatever. In the beginning, I was so fanatical. I'm like, do water because you need water and only water. But now I'm just like, dude, bake it in a cake. I don't care. Just get it in you because it's not in the soil today.
yeah.
I'm
And
joking.
you
You don't
can
want to
tell
bake it.
because you feel different. Because like then I wasn't hungry until this morning. And you guys, it's true what he says. Once you get the cellular nutrition going where you're eating things that your body needs, your grocery bill drops because I mean, for instance, you cannot eat a bag of apples, but you can eat a bag of potato chips. Do you know what I'm saying? And the reason
Mhm.
being is that your body will stop you from eating that whole bag of apples. It won't want it because you know what I'm saying? But there's no nutrients in a bag of potato chips. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what we need
So,
to do, Donna. We need to come up with a healthy potato chip company. We would really knock it out
oh
of the
my
park with
gosh,
that.
it would be
I
like,
love potato chips. They don't do well for me though.
I know because the oils are so bad. There is like almost all of the bags of potato chip, and your cells, those cells,
Like
when you eat
cancer
bad
chips.
oils, they go into your cells. I mean, carbs, can burn off sometimes, but the oils stay in you. So if you're eating bad oils all the time, you're in trouble because your cells are made up of those. And
Yeah.
potato chips have really, I found a few good potato chips, but that have good oils, but it's far and few between. So it's hard to find. So we really need to do that because I do love potato chips and I don't get them very much.
Well, I'm just really happy that we got to exchange because I feel like I said, it's 2022. You are my Christmas present because this is like
Aw,
it's really taken my health up a lot, and I really
so good to
value
hear.
that, and I'm very appreciative of it, and it's very humbling and exciting for me because that's what I do every day. I wake up and I'm always looking, and I'm looking what else can I do to feel better? What else can I do to look younger and have more energy? And then share what I find with other people because I know there's so many people out there hurting. And anyway, it's just awesome. And now you're on our train too. And like I'm telling you, when you mix these two things together, it's powerful.
Well, let's talk about where they can find you. And I think you're giving me a coupon code for anybody who wants to order from your site. I think it's just Donna, right? Is
Yep.
that correct?
Hmm.
It's just Donna if you want to put the coupon code in. But you can find I can put this in the link description below too. But
Sure.
should they
Yeah.
go to
You guys,
Chemical Free Body? Is
yeah,
that
if
where
you guys are interested in like just checking us out, or if you want to try some of the products, actually I'll show you how to get a double discount. So go to chemicalfreebody.com, go to the shop tab, scroll down to savings bundles. That's where you get a discount.
Mhm.
And you can do like a little jumpstart bundle, or if if you want to stick your toes in the water, if you're an all-in type of person, you can like, do the total energy and detox bundle and get a bottle of turmeric and a bottle of V-Stack and go all in. That's pretty much what I do, or pick anywhere in between that resonates with you. And then at checkout, put in the code Donna, and then you'll get a double discount, Donna. And we also have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. So I
That's
stand behind
awesome.
my products 200% because I know they're going to work for 98% of you. And I just, that's just the way it is. But for that small percentage, if something doesn't work, we'll refund your money, lickety split. But get on the phone, send an email to us at support@chemicalfreebody.com and get on the phone with myself or one of my coaches because we are primarily a coaching company. The products came later. They were just part of our toolkit. And now Cultured Food Life is now in my toolkit,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
if part of our toolkit is our products and they don't work for you, I know other formulas and places, they might have 20
More
products, but
help.
two of them are good. And I can show you which one would work for you. We want to help you wake up and feel good. So it's not about that. We just want to help people. That's what we're here for.
Well, I can feel that from you. It's exciting to see people that have been through a crisis and come out on the other side, but have abilities to help so many people to feel better. And that you have a lot of testimonies, I think, on your site too. I think I saw some on there.
Well, I'm not, I just hired a tech team about a year ago and it was a big mess because I was Mr. Anti-tech. My goal as a financial advisor was to throw my phone in the lake and never talk to anybody again because it was just like so burnt out on it. And but I had to learn that stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, we have testimonies. We literally have thousands of them. They're not all on the site yet because we have to but they're there. There's quite a few. I've got
Quite a
world
few.
champion, Hall of Famer people that I've worked with. I work with Major League Baseball players. But for me, it's all about the working class. I
Mhm.
think the working class is getting scrunched right now. And it's kind of hard to fight for freedom and have a good life if you don't have your health. So
It's
I
true.
feel that my calling in life is to help people wake up, make it super simple, and they can get started doing baby steps. Let's detox the body, let's nourish the body, and let's give people some daily strategies to reduce their stress and eliminate it so they can wake up and feel good. I mean, that's the whole freaking point. And then they can do what they need to do, and they can travel, and they can go upstairs, and they can go hiking or biking or whatever they want to do with their friends and family, and they don't have to be in aches and pains and
It's
medications and
addictive. Being healthy is not the norm anymore. It's really sad. Wellness
and
is
it's real
not the
easy. It's
norm.
so
And
simple
it's
to
easy,
get it
but
back.
you don't understand what kind of life you can have when you feel good. It is like, I mean, I do so much in a day. It's like uh, it's crazy, but it's out of it actually it's from joy too, because I'm so excited. I don't recommend anything that I haven't tried. I don't tell people about stuff just to, sell stuff. I only really sell stuff that I believe in. That's why I don't put a bunch of flashing ads on my website, because it's very lucrative to do that, but I don't believe in that. I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? I really want people to feel good, because when they feel good, and that I'm talking about physically and emotionally, because when you do, and like Tim said, you get good sleep, you can really change the world with your own life, because people will want what you have. They're going to
Yeah.
want whatever that you've got, they want. They're desperate for it. I was desperate for it when I started out back 20 some years ago. But anyway, and as we get older, I thought I knew a lot. I don't know anything now. That's what I started.
That's what I say. I
I
don't know
thought
nothing.
I
I'm
was
just trying
so
to learn.
smart. I know this and I know this about cultured foods. And now that research has caught up with what I had learned, now it's blowing my mind. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like all the things that I'm learning, all the fun yogurts we're making that are new. It's just thrilling to me that people
Well,
are
and
sleeping
for
better,
those of you that
feeling
want to
better.
geek out like we do, that's fine. But some people just don't have time. They got kids, the jobs, and they're doing all this
Exactly.
stuff. I like to refer back to like Ann Wigmore.
Yeah.
She literally healed herself with lawn grass. And then down the road, they were like, well, maybe a different type of grass is better. So they looked at wheatgrass, ryegrass, barley grass, oatgrass. They lined them up. You know what she did as an experiment? She took all those different grasses and put them in piles on the kitchen floor. And then she opened up the door and she let the cat in, and the cat sniffed all of them and ate the wheatgrass.
Oh,
And that was
that's
called a cat
interesting.
scan, right? That was her.
That's
So,
awesome.
so she did that, and then she shooed the cat out, and then she opened up the door and she let in the dog. The dog came in, sniffed all the grasses, went and ate the wheatgrass. That's called
Wow,
lab results.
that's
Get that
hilarious.
one?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But my point is like she went to nature. And what we found out now is like at Oregon State Health University, they're actually studying, that's the top phytochemical research or plant nutrient research center in the world. And one of the top. And they've been studying wheatgrass. In 2011, I think they'd found 70,000 phytochemicals or plant nutrients that have the ability to prevent and reverse disease. And
Mhm.
then 2 years later, they were up to 74,000 and counting. There
Yeah.
could be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these phytochemicals in wheatgrass that can reverse and prevent disease. Ann Wigmore didn't need to geek out and read 5,000 papers.
Yeah, she
She
just
just
had it
knew it
fixed.
from a dog and a cat,
Mhm.
right? So that's where she went. So you don't need to know this stuff. You just need to try it. You have to have first person experience. Otherwise, you don't know. You can't believe all these talking heads.
Yeah.
Get the experience for yourself, and then you'll know it. Nobody can
Yes.
take that experience away from you.
Exact. I love that, because your body is your best teacher. There's nothing that will teach you. And you know what? People told me when I first started Cultured Foods 20 some years ago that I was insane, that I was letting food ferment on the counter. It was going to go bad. It was going to make me sick, but it had
Yep.
made me well. And nobody was talking me out of not having that keeper. I don't care what they said, because
Yeah.
I saw the results myself. It was so, I was never going back to that life of sickness, never. And I don't care if they were hard. People were really hard on me, because I was kind of back there by myself doing it, and I didn't really have anybody to follow. But
Yep.
I knew the results that had happened to me. And that was, I mean, if it was going to kill anybody, it would kill me, because I've been doing this a long time. Do you know
I
what
was
I'm
going to
saying?
tell you too.
So,
I was eating the El Rotoray yogurt plain, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to try it with some berries, and I smashed some blackberries in there.
oh,
Holy crap,
so
that was good.
good. I
Now
know.
it's like super dessert every day. And I'm like, I eat my lunch and then I have it afterwards. And I'm just like, I can't wait to get it. I can't wait
I
to
gotta
get it.
tell
It's
you,
like,
I'm addicted to the El Ruderai cottage cheese. I've been making that. You make it from the El Ruderai, and it takes like 24 hours, but it doesn't take it's not very hard. I'm telling you, I have that for lunch. I'm gonna have it for lunch today. And it's all so good.
I'm
and
coming
I put,
over.
like, berries
I want
and
to try it
cinnamon
right now.
almonds, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I've been making all these different recipes, but it's a fun way to have it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I enjoy the way that it tastes. But there's so many different. And you guys, I'm serious. That's like, it's not very expensive. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm so full from it. I can't. El Ruderai has the ability to control your appetite, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but it has the ability to make you feel so full you don't overeat because of the oxytocin that it
I
creates.
know, it's crazy. You know what I realize now is like, I'm like, all I really need to eat is probiotic yogurts and kefirs and sprouts. And that's pretty much all I need.
That's about what I ate yesterday. I did seriously. I was like,
I know.
But I don't have the cravings for bad foods. You know, it's like amazing. So anyway, I'm really thankful that you came on. Thank you. And I'm having a really good time. Excited to see, he's doing like a 90-day El Ruderai thing on his site. He's got everybody trying it with him, and we'll see the results. Was it after 90 days? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you and me, we're doing that. I got to have you back on the show, because now that you're on the product, as soon as you're on my product for 90 days, and you've been on for about a month now, I think.
Yes.
And I've been on yours for a month and a half. So I don't know, we got another 60 days to go, and then we'll have to have you back on. We'll talk about the results on my show.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Tim. Everybody check out his website at chemicalfreebody.com. And he's also got the Health Hero podcast that are terrific. And we'll be talking more with Tim. And thank you. And don't forget, we'll put all the link in the descriptions below. We'll give you a code, Donna, if you want to have some savings. If we told you how to have double savings. And we'll try to put all that in the description below. But thank you again, Tim. It's a pleasure. And
my pleasure.
So,
just thank you for letting me come on the show, and hope everybody has an awesome day.
Okay, you too. Well, we'll see you next week, guys.